topic is this, stop reacting and start responding. So a lot of time, knowingly, unknowingly, we react. And it's not that we don't know the consequences, but a lot of times knowingly also we make mistakes. And what kind of mistakes? The outcomes that we receive after the reaction that happened is an undesirable one, most of the times. So why it happens? Because we are not able to, we as individuals, we are not able to control the emotions because emotions are controlling us. That is the reason we immediately react. We do not pause and kind of reflect and think what can go wrong if we behave in a certain manner. Or if we say certain things, because words once spelled out, we cannot take them back. It already has gone to the people. So here comes the remedy. I won't say a remedy, but there are a couple of actionable measures that we can actually take to avoid such occurrences. And if we don't take those measurable steps, what happens is the reactions become sort of our pattern. And we would have destroyed a lot of relationships. We would have destroyed by then a lot of equations because, we connect more emotionally. Emotional connections are stronger and the bonding become everlasting if we are able to connect through our emotions. And if you're not able to understand the emotions, then what happens is we kind of create a very miserable situation. And then we regret. So these are the things that are the repercussions or the consequences. As I said, it's not that we don't know. Sometimes we also reflect and think that, oh, I could have spoken a little differently, or I could have behaved a little differently. But that's why didn't it happen that time? The only reason is that, the emotions were controlling us. And also sometimes I would say that, if you recall, you would definitely remember that, there were others who were controlling your emotions. So others are having the freedom, because if you are not able to manage your own emotions, others will be controlling your emotions, as simple as that. All right. And it works on their advantage. So it works as an advantage for them. So it creates a reputation issue later on. Your brand positioning gets affected. So all those things are also possibilities. So knowing all these things, I think it's very important that we manage our emotions, we understand others' emotions, we act accordingly so that we pivot and we don't sink. So that is the basic context of today's discussion. So we have around 45 minutes or so to delve on this in details. And if you have any questions, I would be more than happy to address them. I would definitely want to know your specific challenges. If it is not getting covered in this 45 minutes, I would hear it out and I would try my best to give my 2 cents, which has worked or which works. So let's move forward. Now, since you have invested your time for this 1 hour of session, and Vanita, I saw you, you're not well, but I'm grateful that you were able to make time and attend this session. I acknowledge your presence, and of course, Dipti as well, and others who have joined. So I really acknowledge your time and effort to attend this particular session. So
Thank you, Dr. Akita. Thank you.
Thank you. So what you would receive from this 45 minutes to 60 minutes of session, we will try to understand. We will understand. We will not try, because there is nothing called try. Either we understand or we don't understand. So we will understand the reaction trap. what it is. What are the different signals? How do you understand that you are in a reaction trap? Because that's the start point. Being aware is the start point. Okay. So we will understand the common cycle where immediate reactions lead to unfavorable outcomes and increased stress. We will also consider certain scenarios, and we will see how the action steps that I have outlined, as you will see as we proceed, how those will help in multiple situations. Now, what are the takeaways? There would be two primary takeaways. The first one is you will know about the different emotional intelligence skills. Now, what is EI? Now, we have heard of IQ, intelligence quotient. We have heard of social quotient. Emotional quotient is as important as IQ. I would say more important than IQ. You might have a very good technical knowledge, you might have a very good functional knowledge, but if you are not able to get along with people, or people are not able to get along with you, what's the use? You cannot work in silo. Whether it's at home, whether it's in a community, or whether it's in your workplace. You need to talk to people. You need to work with people, which involves understanding emotions of people. So EQ is greater than IQ, I would say, because, if you don't know certain skills, you can still learn, right? So you can still learn those skills, but emotional understanding, it takes some time. You need to understand multiple people in multiple situations, so that certain times, people fabricate some of the emotional displays. But if you observe them, the word is observation. If you observe them in multiple situations, you would be able to understand the pattern of people, and accordingly you act or you behave. So it takes time. Technical skills, you just learn, implement, do a project, and that's all, right? You learn it that fast. So EQ is more than IQ. So EQ and social intelligence is also kind of overlapping. So it's like how in a multiple big ecosystem, you're able to interact, gel along, and manage that emotional IQ, emotional quotient. That is what is social quotient. So what we will learn is what are the different emotional intelligence skills. And 1 hour is very, very less to actually delve deeper into each of these skills. So you will learn what are those skills. So that at least, if you are aware about some of those skills, you know what to do. So that will help us in strategizing also in multiple tricky situations, how you act, how you understand, how you should behave, or what you should speak. The next takeaway is pause and pivot. Pause is really important. The sudden ways that we actually suddenly jump into certain conclusions and act, or not act, we react, we will prevent that if we are able to give an intentional pause. We call it as an intentional pause. So intentional pause followed by a pivot. But first comes is the self-awareness, understanding what are the trigger points, and then pause. During the pause, what do? We will discuss. So pause and then you pivot. These are the typical steps. So last but not the least, of course, apply these strategies and skills in the real life to make the situation better. Now, before we get started, there should be an introduction because I need to understand my audience. And I would just require these three things from you as of now, which is name, your full name, which location you are from, and a brief about your profession. So if you can help me with this. So starting with Vanita.
Yeah. I'm a soft skill trainer and coach as well, life skills. Basically, from the hospitality and the education background over 2 decades. And for me, it's a passion to empower women very specifically, starting from young girls, where it really makes the difference of how to deal with daily challenges of life as well as coping mechanisms.
Absolutely.
And so that's a little brief about me.
Awesome. Awesome. So you are addressing the grassroots level because
That's right.
the young girls, their mind is still molding, they're still evolving. We experienced bunch of people, we already, it's like we know it all, what new things that we will learn. So our minds are already conditioned in a very deep way. Now to change that conditioning, it requires an effort. But yes, if there is a strong belief that this can change me for a better, then I will change. So deep conditioning is there for the people who are, I would say, we are already in the workspace. But for the young girls, they have not seen the world as much as we have done, and molding them for good, for better, will be easier and faster. And addressing at the grassroots level, awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Vanita, for sharing this.
You're
Um,
welcome.
yeah. Who else is there? I'm not able to see the participant list because my screen is full. It's full screen. Anybody else?
Yes, ma'am. This is Pravallika.
Please go ahead.
Hi, Arpita. Yeah,
Hi.
this is
Welcome.
Pravallika. Yeah, thank you. Nice to attend your session. Actually, this is the first session I'm attending. So, I'm currently a housewife only, mother of two little sweet
Awesome,
children.
awesome, awesome. Motherhood gives a lot of learnings.
Yeah,
You're
so
also a mother. So,
I, the
uh,
most
yeah.
challenging parenthood job I am doing currently, and of course I'm enjoying. And previously I'm basically from BTech background. I worked in the automation field as a trainer. And after my marriage with my kids, I switched off into teaching. I pursued my B.Ed after my marriage while I was raising my first son. So I pursued my B.Ed and then I worked as a teacher with Gitanjali group of schools. And again, with my second issue, my second son, I took a break. So now he's also grown up, both are into their studies. So I wanted to restart my career and just finding my path through hockey.
Awesome, awesome. And you are from which location?
Hyderabad.
Hyderabad. Okay, awesome. Nice to hear both of you, and a warm welcome again. Anybody else?
Yeah, Arpita, sorry, I didn't mention the location. I'm at Chennai.
You're from Chennai. Okay, so
Yes.
you're from Chennai, you're from Hyderabad. I'm from Bangalore.
Oh, great, great. I was in
Nice.
Bangalore.
Awesome, awesome.
I was in Bangalore as well for about
You're-
14 years.
Okay, okay. Which
Uh,
part of Bangalore?
I was in a place called Kamanahalli, that area,
Kamalahari.
eh,
Yes, yes,
Hennur.
yes.
Mm.
Yes, yes, I know. And very frequently I visit Chennai as well.
Oh, that's nice. We should
Yes.
catch
I mean,
up sometime then.
I'm visiting a lot of places, but Chennai is definitely, I'm visiting quite often.
Oh, then we should catch up sometime. Nice to hear that.
Absolutely. 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 All
Find
right.
your
So
way
you
towards Hyderabad also, Arpita.
come back
Find
again?
your way. Find your way towards Hyderabad also. Give us a chance also to
Oh,
meet.
yes, 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 yes. Hyderabad, of course. I mean, it's a beautiful city and it's fast
Yeah.
growing as well.
Yes,
Very
yes.
nice. So I will definitely, definitely.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
So anybody else we have missed out? If not, I will move forward. Okay. So, I mean, we are all adults and we all know, all this hygiene in the classroom. But still, I would just like to reiterate this for the benefit of everyone. It's just a reminder and nothing else. It's not a strict rule, but it's a reminder. So, ideally, we should take notes. And learning happens more when we have an open mind. And I'm sure that this is not the first session that all of you are attending about emotional intelligence. And I'm sure that you would be listening to a lot of videos and articles. You are reading a lot of articles also around it. But I would say that every session, at least for me as well, it holds good that every session I attend, there is at least 10% minimum that I learn something new from that session. So I'm sure that you will also reflect and see that, a couple of sessions that you have attended, you have at least picked up one, which is an actionable step going forward. So that's the beauty of attending sessions. And that's the reason we are here as well. And you will definitely take away at least one actionable step to make a better ecosystem and to make a better healthy lifestyle of ours, right? So have a notebook, pen, and a digital notebook or a digital notebook for writing notes. And we will take the question and answer towards the end of the session, because it might happen that most of your questions are getting answered during the course of the session. If not, as I said at the beginning, we will address it definitely towards the end to the best of my capability. Now, before we
Yeah.
move forward here,
Sorry to
yes.
interrupt, but I think we have another person by name Kamna who's joined us.
Hey, Kamna, welcome. Are you able to hear me? Hello.
Kamna will have to unmute. I think she didn't realize. You're on mute, Kamna.
Maybe you want to check your audio or something. But never mind, you can pause me whenever it gets corrected, your audio. We'll wait to hear from you. Till then, we'll get started again. So let me present this industry statistics, and you will see some alarming figures and numbers and data. So this is with respect to high prevalence of mental health issues impacting productivity. A recent study by Deloitte revealed that poor mental health among employees costs Indian employers an estimated 14 billion USD annually due to absenteeism. Presentism, that is by making yourself physically available but mentally unavailable. And that too because of any kind of distress that the people are going through. And of course, high attrition. This statistic vividly illustrates the economic toll of unmanaged stress and reactive behaviors in the workplace. The survey also found that 80% of the Indian workforce reported mental health issues in the past year. And a significant portion of these individuals continue to work. See this, they continue to work despite their struggles. So what is stopping them to get that advice or therapy or suggestion or any kind of, remedial measures? What is stopping them? It's just a prioritization of stuff. Or it's also about, okay, that is more important than this. But the realization is of health being more important than anything else in the world, because if health is not there, productivity will not be there. That realization people are not having. So despite their struggles, they are trying to work, and therefore it's not yielding any results. They have reduced productivity and perpetuation of a reaction trap in the professional setting. This highlights how individual mental health, often driven by reactive coping mechanisms to stress, directly impacts national productivity. Now we are focusing on national productivity. I mean, world is huge to consider right now. Let's start with our own homeland, motherland. The next aspect I'm going to share is about emotional unavailability and marital quality. Now, this is not new. Research on Indian couples suggests a strong link between emotional reactivity, emotional unavailability, negative marital outcomes. A study on impact of emotional unavailability on happiness level of Indian couples highlights that when one spouse avoids discussing their emotions or is unavailable or unable to express them, I mean, a lot of times you see that spouses are not able to express, even though they are sitting under one roof, they are not able to express their emotions. They're unable to express them. It leads to certain spousal and marital unhappiness. In India, there's often a complacent attitude towards a partner's lack of emotional availability, creating a culture where people may not feel secure or need to communicate their emotions. This absence of emotional connection can result in increased fights, worsening overall mental health for the couple, and opening the doors for divorce, separation, etc. Now, if you remember the COVID times, lack of communication or over communication. And over communication is also bad because you are expressing too much. And those expressions are not positive most of the times because we were going through an emotional turbulence of what will happen next. These viruses, those viruses, etc., and so many repercussions of health. Right? So you see, those were the worst times people have gone through. But still, otherwise also, it happens very often here and there when emotionally people are not available to each other or they are not expressive enough. This indicates how a reactive tendency to shut down or avoid emotional expression rather than engaging constructively. Constructively is the word. Now, how do we constructively engage? Somewhere we have to pause, somewhere we have to actively listen, somewhere we have to speak, somewhere we have to stop. So it's like a traffic signal, you see that you visualize the lights, the different lights have different connotations. Red, stop. Yellow, start slowly. Green, pause. So start slowly and observe, right? Here also start slowly and see how people are taking those behaviors or those words. And then stop. So it's not like you go, stop, start, pause. You start and then you can pause and stop. So it can just, depending on the situation, you decide which light to switch on. So life is like that. Life is like a traffic signal. I'm bringing in this metaphor, this analogy, because it helps. Rather than engaging constructively, so this is how it's constructive way of approaching things. Switch the lights accordingly. Can lead to significant relationship breakdowns and heightened personal stress otherwise. And the third thing that I'm going to share about the statistics is stress and anxiety among industrial workers. This is a little out 2015 data, but still, that time you see around 18 to 36% anxiety and stress cases amongst the workers. And why? Because of depression, because of high stress levels and so on. And now also it's alarming, right? So the study noted that financial problems, academic job-related pressures were among the most common stressors. As I said, being self-aware, understand what are the emotional triggers. So these are the common stressors, right? Emotional triggers, then pause, and then pivot. So pause again, hold on. I'll tell you what all things to do during the self-regulation process. Those are called self-regulation skills. Now moving on to the actual problem. So we have been seeing the statistics. So what is the problem? The problem is this. There are 10 of them minimum, which I will share. You act too fast, people act too fast without really thinking. That is called a quick snap. Your feelings take over completely, which means that you are not controlling your emotions. Emotions are controlling you. It's like nowadays, the kids, they're always on the gadgets. And they're always on the gadgets means what? Technology is controlling them rather than they are controlling the use of technology. Bane and boon, both applies to this particular phenomenon, right? So your feelings take over completely. Next is what? Quick reaction often creates bigger problems. Every time you react poorly, you get more and more stressed. Because sometimes, after 10 minutes, 15 minutes, when situations have calmed down, if at all, you suddenly start thinking, oh, I should not overreact it, or I should not have said this, if the situation somehow have just come down, or if it has bloated up like anything, then it's out of control. It feels like your emotions are driving you. After reacting, you often wish you had done something different. These are all common situations. Your quick reactions can hurt relationships, work, your health. You keep getting caught in the same cycle of, it's a vicious cycle of reacting badly. Because if it has become a pattern, then it becomes part of your muscle memory as well. All this reacting makes your life less calm, and less joyful. So this is what are the real problems, typical problems. Now, why I am doing what I am doing? I have a mission, and let me share that with you. The mission is this. I am on a mission to empower lakhs of individuals, students, graduates, starters, working professionals, risers, restarters, to achieve their career breakthroughs, because it's all linked. Health is wealth. If there is health, then there is a productivity. To achieve their career breakthroughs through proven tools, strategies, and guidance. I am also on a mission to empower and transform individuals through 1 lakh plus coaching hours by 2026. I am on a mission to support companies in achieving excellence through one-on-one and group coaching and innovative learning solutions. Now let's get moving. What is a reaction trap, which I mentioned that we will cover? Let's understand this. People often react, as I was saying, they react impulsively. When provoked. See, here there is a reason, and that is not a good reason. I mean, provocation happens every now and then. But why do you have to, and why anyone has to, for that matter, suddenly react? Because people intentionally sometimes provoke, again, to their advantage. Because if in a workplace, if they provoke you, you react in a certain way, you are damaging your brand. People will know you that you get triggered very easily. You are not able to emotionally manage situations. Tomorrow, if there is an open position for a manager or a senior role or a very meaty role, this word of mouth will spread like anything, and you will miss opportunities. So it's not just about missing opportunities. There are situations where people will talk negative about you. People see negative things spread faster. So will you be able to handle that? First of all, you are going through this reaction trap, and then it's all spread like wildfire. Will you be able to manage that, handle that? So why to go into those kinds of situations? So the recommendation is pause. Even emotionally, we sometimes write mails. So we have got something, say, from a client has escalated a lot of issues, and then you're anyway there, already emotionally, you are distraught. So you are typing the mail at that point of time. What will you write? Whatever thoughts are that time in your mind, those words will come out through your hands on the keyboard. So you will use words which are not, I would say, favorable. You will use words which will damage further. So it's always good to sleep over it, sit over it. In other words, pause. Same way it applies when you are even using WhatsApp messages, text messages, emails, which I already mentioned, even verbally, even body language. Sometimes body language also can show destructive behaviors. You are not speaking, but people are throwing things, shutting the doors, or just, too much of hand movement. or too much of walking all around. So all these are symbols or symptoms of you already into the trap. So again, the remedy is pause. Automatic habit loops, right? These reactions are often habitual. So it becomes part of your, as I was saying, habit. Habits die hard. Something becomes a habit when you are doing repetitively over a period of time. So these reactions, if it's following over a period of time, it becomes habit. And it's not that you cannot change habit, but it is possible to change only if you have a strong belief that something will help me to become a better person. And there are a lot of proofs around. People always look for proofs. If it has worked for people, okay, if it has worked, means I will also, depending on the situation I go through, I will also adopt this. So changes are possible, but with a strong belief. And then this cycle leaves us feeling stuck. Vicious cycle leaves us feeling stuck, responding out of habit instead of making intentional choices. And intentional choices can happen through intentional pauses. So as I was mentioning, already giving you examples as to how do we spot the reaction trap? Frustration, sudden feelings of anger, defensiveness. These are the early signs of reactive behavior. You sometimes regret because of the impulsive words used or actions done. Feeling drained, drawn into drama, sensing a loss of control. These are all signs that you have already come into the trap. You have already fallen into the trap. So I would just like you to do a self-reflection. You can write in the chat window as well. I'm sure, we have less number of people here, but there is a reason that we all are here. How many of you are in this reaction trap? I mean, it's good to be vulnerable because we're all here to learn from each other. We're not perfect human beings, but there is always an opportunity and scope for improvement. So we are learning from each other, and therefore I'm sure that you would be real and you would be sharing that, if you are going through this reaction traps, and you can say a yes in the chat window, or you can unmute and you can share. But the next important question is this: how often? This is very, very important. Now, if it happens once in a month, you are completely in your control, I would say, because the rest of the times you're able to manage. And I'm sure that life is not a bed of red roses, right? There are no thorns. So you are able to overcome those thorns. Maybe there are very extreme trigger because of which there was a reaction. So if that is the case, but then you were able to bounce back. So you are controlling your emotions rather than emotions controlling you. Now, if it's the first one, if it's the second one, daily, multiple times, then something we need to do about it. Daily, but few times. Again, something needs to be done. So these are the extreme situations where we need to really do a self-assessment. How often such triggers? What are those stressors? Or what are those triggers? What triggers me? So once you identify, then only we can work, right? So there is a chart also. You can create a chart by yourself. What are the triggers? How many times in a day I'm getting triggered? What my reactions are because of these triggers. Do a self-analysis before you go to sleep. Were these triggers justified for me to react this way? Ask yourself. Self-coaching is the best coaching, first of all. So ask yourself. If you are able to find a different answer, think about it. Visualize that if you had behaved in that new way, what it would have been like. And with that visualization, sleep. The next day, start your day with that positive visualization with which you slept the previous night. And then do some affirmations. Do some affirmations. Close your eyes and do some affirmations. I'm sure you know how to do this gratitude journaling and the affirmations. If you do that regularly, the rest of the day will be more peaceful. And remember the word pause. Whenever next time you are thinking that, okay, just pinch yourself. That's an anchor. That you started, pinch yourself immediately. Stop. So again, the traffic signal may work. So that's how you can pivot. Now let's understand the hidden cost of reacting. Emotional toll and stress for yourself and for the people around you. Damaged reputation and damaged relationships. Lost professional opportunities. Vicious cycle of unproductivity. These are the hidden costs of reaction. And are you now ready to make progress? Are you now ready to learn a new habit, a new skill? I already mentioned a couple of nuggets, but are you ready to implement all of this, which has been shared so far? Please write a yes, because that would be a resounding telling to yourself, yes, I will do. So again, respond, don't react. Control your response, but understand what is reaction and what is response. So reacting is impulsive, emotionally driven behavior. And responding is conscious, means you are putting your thought process, right? You are thinking during that pause time. And that's an intentional pause. And because you are empowered to think at that point of time, because you are empowered to anchor yourself when you are starting to get, into that zone, reaction zone, it means that you are already empowered because you know what to do. All right. So response is conscious, intentional, empowered behavior, and reacting is impulsive, emotionally driven behavior. So understand the difference. It becomes easier. And these are the keywords that we should remember. Pause, respond, every day, like a self-talk. Emotional Intelligence Foundation, it sets that. So the power of emotional intelligence. The first thing, as I was mentioning, self-aware. What is self-aware? During this time, you understand your own emotions. You understand emotions of others. You understand your own strengths, weaknesses, values, and goals. Now, India needs a lot of leaders who have aligned values. Now, what it means. In my first session, earlier session, this is the second session that I'm doing in this week with her key. But in the previous session, which was on Friday, I spoke about aligning the values with your daily tasks and projects. How do you do that? So India leads more of that, right? India do not lead peoples who do not walk the talk. If they're only talking the talk, they are not living by the values. But if they are walking the talk and aligning the values with the projects they do, okay, then it's a good thing for all of us. So India needs more of them. Organizations need more of such managers and leaders. So value alignment, values realignment. Why I say realignment? Because situations are dynamic. And values realignment exercise is also important. So self-awareness covers all of these aspects. Understanding own emotions, others' emotions, understanding own strengths, weaknesses, values alignment, realignment, goals. So that is important. That is the first step of building emotional intelligence skills. And also having these kinds of feelings. So as I was mentioning that, you don't have to show your frustration, but then you can, in a very polite and proper manner, we can always say that somebody is frustrating you. Just I'm saying that, if you are getting frustrated by somebody, in other words, somebody is frustrating you. You don't have to react with frustration, showing your anger or throwing your hands, etc. You can just say, I am feeling frustrated. Or you can say in a much better way, so that others are not able to control your emotions. So if you say in a very calm manner, even if the person is trying to frustrate you, will start thinking, Are, how come she's so calm? How come he's so calm? Okay, so that is what is the regulation, right? So you can share, you can express this way, I'm feeling frustrated. So you are giving a signal in a positive manner. Or somebody is throwing angry tantrums. This is anger. You are just reminding the person, this is anger, but you are not getting angry and you are not overreacting, right? Or a tit for tat. You're not doing that. Even sometimes people, when they're happy, they don't say these words. I'm excited. I had so many of my participants, I remember, they were sharing some good moments. I was asking, how do you feel? The saying also was like this, I'm excited. I mean, it is not resonating with the actual excitement in the body. So what you say should be what is shown. So that difference was there. So we did multiple such iterations to actually express through the physical expression as well. So people are not enough to even do that, right? So, I'm excited, I'm happy. Where is the excitement? I'm not able to find that excitement in you, but you say that I'm excited. So these kinds of things are important, So that is what is emotional recognition. Then self-assessment, as I was mentioning, strengths, limitations, weaknesses, values, goals, emotions of others, yours, all this we need to understand. And where is your skill with regards to the self-confidence? So self-confidence play a major role. Self-esteem, self-confidence, all this is deeply connected with how you are able to manage your EQ. Okay, so emotional quotient, self-confidence works hand in hand. So where is your scale on self-confidence? Self-regulation skills. Now, what are they? What is that? So thinking before acting, resisting the urge of reacting, immediately anchor, pinch yourself, and delay the gratification. Handle disruptive emotions and impulses effectively, keeping them in check. Being flexible. So I was saying, values realignment. Today, I might put honesty as the top of my value list. Flexibility as a value I believe in comes, say, in the third of the list. But tomorrow I have a situation and a project which wants me to be successful and to have a successful project, which means success for everyone, my team as well. I need to put flexibility on the top of the order. Honesty will come second then. Okay? Doesn't mean that I am becoming dishonest. No. I'm just putting flexibility a little above the honesty, but I'm still honest. All right. So that kind of values realignment needs to be done. That is called self-regulation, depending on the situation and the circumstances. Initiative, taking action and being proactive rather than reactive. A lot of times, proactively, are we doing this, which means, are we thinking much in advance? If this is the way that I will do things, that is what I will get every time. So what change I should do? That is called proactive thinking. Trustworthiness, conscientiousness, which is the big five. Okay, the big five of the personality traits. One of the big five. Being reliable, organized, and taking responsibility for your actions, not blaming others, right? So that is also self-regulation. It builds trust. Maintaining a positive outlook even in times of setback. This is nothing but called mental resilience and being optimistic. So that is what is self-regulation. Now, what all we need to do, mindfulness, meditation, deep breathing. There are different videos available on how to do meditation, deep breathing exercises, mindfulness activities, etc. Not going to delve into this, but this is the pause moment for you. During the pause, you are thinking. During the pause, you are collating information, collating ideas. During the pause, you are meditating. Meditation, it need not be always half an hour, 1 hour. You can do a quick 5 minutes of meditation as well. You can do a quick 3 minutes of deep breathing as well. We call it as a box breathing, 4 seconds, 4 seconds, 4 seconds, 4 seconds. How many seconds in total? How many minutes in total? Even 1 minute. So all these are possible. So it is during this time you are putting your, pausing your reaction, means stopping your reaction, and you are thinking constructively with a calm mind. The idea is to calm down your parasympathetic nervous system so that it allows you to think better. Impulse control, as I mentioned, and also these other techniques. So deep breathing, I mentioned, reframing the self-talk. I am not good in this, full stop. This is not a positive space we should dwell in, right? So how we can tweak this? I don't know this, full stop. Instead of that, I don't know this, but I will learn and spend 1 day to learn this skill. I don't know this, yet I will not feel bad about it, because people don't know everything. They learn in the process of life. So these are the words which can help you reframe, but use it appropriately, but yet like that. Temporarily shift focus away from overwhelming emotions to a neutral or positive activity. Now, how you can do that? You can just look at the greens outside the window. Or you can just see something where people are busy creating something. Or you can go and follow this method, which is called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. And what is this? You are using all your 5 senses one by one. So you are overwhelmed for a certain reason or a certain situation, for a certain situation. So what you do is, say you are looking at one object. I mean, there are plenty of objects all around you, right? Even in the room that you are sitting, you will find many objects. So you can just pick one object and find out. So you are using your eyesight. Find out 5 unique things about that object. So then your mind will go over there. And so in front of me, I have a canvas. I can't show it to you here because I have to reverse the camera. But then I have a canvas, and on the canvas, I have my child who has actually drawn on the canvas. It's a beautiful mountain, a lot of greenery. There is a sun, there are birds, there are clouds. There are different shades of the color of the hills, different shades, different colors of the leaves. So I'm able to see more than 5 things. So temporarily, if some negative thought was running or I was overthinking or whatever, things, I'm temporarily able to shift my focus. So after one object, you can go to the second object. You can go to the third object. So that is using your eyesight, which is called the 5, one of the senses, right? Out of the 5 senses. Now the fourth one could be you go to the kitchen, or if you are in the garden, you walk down the garden and you tell to yourself, okay, I want to listen to 4 different things here at this place. Just focus on all the sounds. Keep your mind, that will throw away all your thoughts. So just focus on the sound around you. So might be you are listening to a crow, you are listening to a sparrow, or there are some bees it going, or there could be waterfall somewhere, or there could be something, so leaves touching each other, making that, noise. So if you focus on that sound thing only, so initially it is an intentional and conscious. Remember I said conscious, intentionally doing, and you are consciously doing it. Initially it is an effort because you want to switch from thoughts running widely in your mind to sound. Initially it's an effort, but then after a lot of practice you can immediately switch. These are called nothing but grounding techniques. These are self-regulation methods, skills. And also there's a mention of warm bath, listening to music, all that, relaxing music, all of that, gratitude journaling, all of that can help. Warm bath in the after sunset and cold water bath in the morning, because the stress hormones are high in the morning. For that you have to use a cold water bath. And in the night, for a good sleep, you need to use a warm, not a hot, warm water bath before sleep. So these are the techniques which work because you have different hormones in our body. And if we take care of all these hormones, that means it's self-regulation. And then you would be able to set clear goals, you would be persistent, you would be effectively managing time, organize your tasks, daily activities, you would be able to cope with the different stress situations. You would be self-motivated. Now, a lot of times people come back and say, how do I become self-motivated? So all this, it's not a magic, but then all this will actually drive us to become self-motivated. And organizations are looking for people who are self-motivated. They don't have time to give lessons on motivation. They want products. They want products to be delivered to the customers. They want cash inflow. All right. Self-motivation is our job. Self-compassion is our job. Problem solving, again. So with all of this, we would be able to think better. We would be able to solve more problems in a better manner. So presentism will not be there. You will be physically available. You are mentally available as well. And last but not the least, social awareness skills. Okay, so this is not the last. There is one more. Okay, empathy is nothing but you put yourselves in others' shoes and try to see the situation from their angle as well. That is empathy. Organizational awareness, dynamics, team dynamics, culture of the organization, the power dynamics in the organization. We need to understand. That's called social awareness. I was mentioning about social quotient. Service orientation of the people, customers. Who are the people? Customers, the clients, the colleagues. So what is their service orientation? Do they want actions immediately? Do they want reports with a lot of data? Do they want very short emails? Some people, they don't like reading long emails. So what is their persona type? What is their service orientation? So this is important to understand. And that all will help in relationship management, that we call it as social skills. That will help in building influence. That will help in conflict management, teamwork, collaboration, inspire others, and help better communication. Of course, if you are a coach for many people around you, you're already building that trust. You're already building that relationship. The second was pause, which I already mentioned. Pause, then gain control over the actions, intentional pauses. During the pause, what you are doing, I mentioned that already, and then pivot for effective response. So that's the second step. The first step was emotional intelligence skills, and under which we have some 4 subsets. The second part is pause and pivot. So understand, then pause, do certain activities within that pause, and then pivot, rise. So identify the trigger moments. Very important, what causes the triggers. Tune into physical cues. So sometimes triggers create this racing heart, muscle stiffness, right? So understanding the triggers and what reactions in your body it's causing, right? So racing heart, muscle tension, faster heartbeat, migraines, a lot of things. So understand them and build the awareness. Then create the pause, right? Deep breath, I mentioned all of this, sipping water, look away, mental pause strategies, right? And then take the strategic pivot. Now, what is the meaning of pivot? Clarify your objective. So in a calm mind, now you lay down your objectives, the goals that you have to achieve. Okay, resolve any conflicts on the way. Align the values with the actions, which I already did in the first session of this week. And then choose strategic responses. This is an interesting piece. How do you handle provocative colleagues? People will provoke because they're looking for some advantage there, right? Not everybody is a bad person, but then, you will face people like this as well. Pause, collect thoughts, respond professionally. So recognize emotional triggers, pause and collect thoughts, respond professionally. Now, if you get a boss who is, a lot of times we know that, why people leave organizations, because they don't have the boss that they wanted to work with. So manage initial emotions, seek clarity professionally, reduce the stress through information. So this is what we can do in this situation. So that is all from my side. Reclaim the power, reduce stress and burnout, increase influence, build stronger relationships, enhance problem-solving skills. What is your next step? The next step is to practice. Apply the pause, but first understand. Understand the reactions which is happening in your body as well. Understand stressors, triggers, understand what you are going through. Apply the pause, pivot. Respond thoughtfully, not reactively. Build a new habit. So if you are practicing this regularly, I'm sure this would be your muscle memory, not the other one. So any questions, I would be happy to answer. So I'll just stop sharing.
Yeah, Dr. Arpita, when it comes to gender issues, very often our counterparts, especially the men, have this notion that women are emotional or dramatic and melodramatic, and kind of don't take it seriously when we, like you said, explain or very clearly inform others, like say, now I'm having a headache, or could you give me some time or leave me alone. So how do you deal with such things, with such colleagues
Yes,
who
so
don't get it?
yeah, so who don't get it? Okay. So the idea is that, you should be very tactful there. So just take a break and tell that, okay, I'm just coming back. Give me just 2 minutes. So by then you just, collect yourself and then come back and share whatever you have to that colleague. So take that small pause by just moving away from the spot. That is one. And second is, when they are not able to understand, just you have to say it, that, but in a very positive manner, because that can go to your disadvantage. So what you can say, that I'm not feeling well, and I just will need another 5-10 minutes, I'll just come back fresh. So these are the things you can definitely say. But if your manager or your colleague doesn't still understand, then you go back and analyze whether it is happening only with you and that person, or this is the general tendency that person never understands anybody's problem. So if that is the case, that it is not just with you and it's happening with many other plentiful people, then why not someday you speak up and talk to your super manager or HR and tell that, these are the situations, it's not just me, but then with others also, they are facing the same problem, that, a person having headache, a person vomiting, a person having a migraine, just asking for a little break and coming back is not being accepted. So those kinds of things you have to try. I
Thank
hope
you.
that addressed.
Yes, thanks.
All right. Someone wants to join this call now. Okay. All right. So, Renu, you have any questions? Anybody else? Any questions?
Hi, Asbiha this side.
Yes.
I don't have a question, but I was bit exploring about the hormones, the happy hormones, the sad hormones, and all. So recently, I've been studying about the cold plunge.
About the cold?
Cold plunge, like it's ice bath, CWI.
Okay.
So I found out that when you just dip yourself in the ice bath, the DNA itself produces a protein called CSP, and then it gives you a bit of like more what do you say, more dopamine release than 1 hour of high intensity workout. So I would love to have a talk with you if the
Absolutely.
goal and vision aligns.
Absolutely. You can get in touch with me, or otherwise, you can share your contact on the chat window.